Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the frankly shocking reality of modern sales. We're going to uncover the invisible engine that the most successful companies are using to just leave their competition in the dust. I'm talking about automation. We're going to look at some fascinating data to see exactly how speed and automated workflows are fundamentally changing the way businesses capture and keep their customers.
Okay, let's dive right into this. 42 hours. I really want you to just sit with that number for a second. According to large-scale tests where real lead forms were submitted to hundreds of B2B companies, 42 hours is the staggering average time it takes a business to respond to a web lead. Just imagine that. A prospect comes to your website, they're showing active intent, they fill out a form, and then crickets. They wait nearly 2 full days to hear back. We live in an on-demand world, right? But this data shows a massive, glaring gap in how manual sales teams are actually operating day to day.
And that gap becomes even more alarming when we look at the proven science of sales. The famous 5-minute rule from a landmark lead response management study found that contacting a lead within 5 minutes makes you about 100 times more likely to reach them than waiting just 30 minutes. 100 times! Yet, across these large-scale tests, up to 63.5% of companies never respond to leads at all. Humans are, quite frankly, dropping the ball. We are completely missing that golden window where the buyer is actively thinking about their problem.
Section 1. The need for speed. The first 5 minutes. Let's break down exactly what happens when sales teams react too slowly.
This brilliantly illustrates the brutal reality of time, which is that speed is literally everything. If we track the conversion rate lift based on exactly how fast a lead is called, it paints a very clear picture. If you call within the first minute, you see a massive 391% lift in conversion. But look how rapidly that advantage decays. By minute 3, that lift shrinks to 98%. And by minute 30, it's down to just 62%. The speed-to-call advantage just disappears right in front of our eyes. Every passing minute drastically shrinks your odds. The data is super clear here. The first hour is absolutely decisive, and those first 5 minutes are everything.
But it's not just about that first quick response. There's this fascinating dichotomy between speed and persistence. Look at this. An unbelievable 50% of all sales leads are never contacted a second time. No way, right? Half of your hard-earned leads get one single try, and then they're just abandoned. Meanwhile, the data shows that 93% of converted leads are reached by the 6th attempt. Yet, 81% of sellers quit after 5 attempts or fewer. Most reps are quitting right before the data says they should finally succeed. We clearly have a systemic execution problem on our hands here.
Section 2. Closing the follow-up gap. The invisible sales floor. Let's shift gears and look at how automation acts as a relentless, invisible sales team.
To really understand how this works in practice, let's walk through the basic anatomy of an automated workflow using a B2B example like TeamGate CRM. Every good automation follows a simple triad: trigger, filter, action. Step 1 is the trigger. Something happens, right? Like a new lead gets generated. Step 2 is the filter. We obviously don't want to treat all leads equally, so we set a filter ensuring this workflow only continues if the lead came from a high-intent source, like a website contact form. Then, step 3 is the action. The system instantly generates an urgent task for the sales rep to call that specific lead immediately. This exact sequence prevents your high-priority website leads from ever falling through the cracks again.
And when you put systems like this in place, the results are just undeniable. Automation consistently outperforms manual handling. Research shows that utilizing lead routing automation cuts average response times from about 13 hours all the way down to just 3.5 hours. Now sure, 3.5 hours still isn't quite that magical 5-minute mark, but it closes the critical speed gap immensely compared to competitors who are just letting their leads sit for days. Automation is really the bridge that brings teams closer and closer to that elusive benchmark.
Let's ground this in reality and see how it plays out in a highly competitive environment. Take the hospitality industry, for instance. The funnels guys highlight this perfectly with this quote: "Event sales are rarely won by the venue with the prettiest brochure. They are won by the venue that follows up properly and makes the decision easy." It's so true. Think about it. If someone inquires about a wedding venue, an automated system can instantly send an SMS confirming receipt, fire off an email with a pricing brochure, and set an internal task to call the prospect. If the lead ghosts, an automated sequence gently nudges them over time. You win by being the business that actually follows up.
Section 3. Winning back lost customers. The 90-day engine. Now we're moving down the customer journey to consider the money sitting in your inactive lists.
So the crucial point is this fundamental economic reality from the Harvard Business Review. Acquiring a new customer costs 5 to 25 times more than keeping an existing one. Despite this, most businesses spend absolute fortunes chasing new clicks while totally ignoring the people who already know their brand. This is exactly why automated win-back campaigns, like the ones restaurants use for customers who haven't ordered in a while, are one of the highest return marketing moves you can possibly make. A properly automated win-back sequence consistently recovers 10 to 18% of a business's inactive customers. That is huge.
Let's break down exactly what a successful win-back cadence actually looks like, using a great model from the restaurant platform Chally. It's basically a timeline triggered by inactivity. At 30 days, the customer gets a friendly reminder with a light 10% off. They're still warm. They probably just fell out of their routine. If they reach 60 days inactive, the automation bumps it up to an incentive offer, like a free appetizer. The psychology here is brilliant. A free appetizer only costs the restaurant about $2 in food costs, but it carries a $10 perceived value to the customer. It pulls them back in without resetting their overall price expectations. And finally, at 90 days, you trigger the last chance offer with 20% off and strict urgency.
But here's where automation gets truly smart. If you just send blanket discounts to everyone, you end up eroding your profit margins by giving deals to people who didn't really even need them. To track true incremental revenue, you absolutely have to segment customers by their past value. Think about it. A high-frequency customer who recently lapsed is an urgent priority. You are losing a valuable habit there. They get a personal, targeted message. A low-frequency customer who hasn't ordered in months? Well, they get low priority and maybe just a last-chance offer. Automation allows you to run this complex matrix behind the scenes effortlessly, making sure you protect your margins while recovering your most valuable buyers.
Section 4. Building a reputation engine, the post-sale automation. Let's look at turning your satisfied customers into highly public advocates.
I absolutely love this one. This is a deeply clever workflow from GoHighLevel that gets triggered the moment a contact's pipeline stage changes to customer. It's a feedback funnel designed to protect and boost your online ratings. Step 1, the automation simply asks the customer for a satisfaction rating. Step 2, if they're happy, the system automatically routes them to your public Google review page. But step 3, this is the magic part. If they are unhappy, the automation routes them to a private internal feedback form. This ensures that you boost your 5-star public ratings while quietly capturing and resolving the internal feedback from dissatisfied clients before it ever hits the internet. How great is that?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the strategy to actually get people to click those links. Having the system set up is great, but execution is key. GoHighLevel outlines 3 best practices here to make sure these get answered. First, use wait timers. Don't ask for a review the literal second they buy. Give them 30 days to actually experience the product or service. Second, use a multi-channel approach. Sending requests via SMS, email, and WhatsApp significantly increases your response rate over just relying on one channel. And third, leverage custom, staff-specific review links. This adds that personal touch that automation often lacks, making the customer feel like they're doing a personal favor for the specific person who helped them out.
Final section, the automation advantage. Removing the wait. Time to summarize why removing friction is absolutely crucial.
A final piece of data from Chili Piper proves this point perfectly. Simply letting a prospect book a meeting instantly, right after they fill out a form, completely bypassing the wait for a human to email them back, roughly doubles inbound conversion. It jumps from 30% to 67%. It really doesn't matter if you're a massive B2B SaaS company trying to book demos or a local restaurant trying to fill tables. Speed is no longer a luxury, folks. Immediate response is a baseline consumer expectation. So I want to leave you with a question to really evaluate your own systems today. If a lead submits a form to your business right now, who is answering? Is it sitting in an inbox somewhere just waiting for Monday morning? Is it relying on a busy sales rep to hopefully remember to follow up? Or do you have an invisible, automated sales floor instantly triggering, filtering, and acting on that lead? The data is totally settled. The opportunity is wide open. It's time to let automation do the waiting so you can do the selling. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.